Electronic Arts is one of the biggest companies in the world with an annual revenue of $7 to $8 billion. They released the legendary FIFA franchise, with this being their best-selling game ever. 325 million copies of FIFA games worldwide. But now, EA is the face of what everyone hates: greed, microtransactions, countless bugs, and lack of creativity in their new games. But before we talk about how they got here, let's see what made them so good in the first place. In May 1982, Trip Hawkins opened Electronic Arts, a gaming company that treated developers like artists. That's where the name comes from. Arts, but electronic. Electronic Arts. In 1991, EA Sports is created, a formal brand under EA, which focused on releasing sports-based games. Their first major game wasn't actually FIFA, it was John Madden Football. They also released games like NHL Hockey, NBA Live, PGA Tour Live, and finally, in 1993, EA Sports releases FIFA International Soccer, the first ever FIFA game. The graphics were revolutionary at the time, and all the new mods and national teams attracted players. The best thing about this game though was the license. This game had the official FIFA license. At the time, no other game could use the FIFA name or official tournaments. And because it was released just before the 1994 World Cup, the game only got more popular. With each passing year, the game got better and better. In 1996, EA released FIFA 96, which was the first multi-platform game in the series. It also had a fully 3D environment that the competition couldn't reproduce. 2 years later, FIFA 98 Road to World Cup was released, and it truly became a landmark for the company. It featured every national team, indoor football mode was introduced, and the World Cup mode appeared, which included the now famous qualifying mode. Also, the offside rule was correctly implemented for the first time ever. As in the previous games, if you passed the ball backwards, the referee would signal it as offside. The most important thing though is that at the end of the decade, FIFA became EA Sports' most important game, and it also became the default football experience. In the 2000s, EA bought more licenses. It wasn't only FIFA, they added UEFA alongside national leagues and clubs. So a game like Pro Evolution Soccer, PES, could never compete. Every club badge, kit, scoreboard, everything belonged to EA. Graphics or game engines didn't even matter. But one important thing though is that I said FIFA had the UEFA license. However, that was only for one tournament. They couldn't have the official license for the Champions League until many years later. So they did have some competition. FIFA was an arcade game. PES was a true simulation of football. A realistic game. And naturally, people wanted to be entertained. They don't care about realism, they want to have fun. But that was about to change really soon. While EA Sports had the licenses and used that as their main strategy, Konami focused on PES and their gameplay. And that showed. PES 2002 scored a mark of 9 out of 10, while FIFA 2002 only 8 out of 10, and they only got that mark because of the licenses they owned. Konami, on the other hand, cared more about the experience. It felt like FIFA had no soul. FIFA 2003 had a cover with stock images of Roberto Carlos, Ryan Giggs, and Edgar Davids. PES 2003 though had Pierluigi Collina, the best referee in the world, as the face of their game. It instantly tells you about personality, about their courage to be different. And starting with this game up until PES 2006, Konami had their golden age. But then FIFA bounced back. They had to reinvent their games, and they did. Better physics, more realism, and more focus on gameplay. FIFA 2007 sold 1 million copies more than FIFA 2006, and they only continued to grow. When finally, in 2009, a new mod completely changed the game forever, and it is the main reason why people until this day play FIFA or EAFC. In FIFA 2009, EA Sports added the Ultimate Team, which was initially an $8 download for the game. This mode allowed players to build their dream teams using digital players cards, which they bought through packs, and very soon it became an addiction for every player. But they brought EA insane amounts of money. And to put into perspective just how much money, by the mid-2010s, EA made over $1 billion per year solely from Ultimate Team, which was more than what entire companies made. However, while this mode skyrocketed FIFA's popularity and made it one of the most profitable games ever, it was also the reason why EA's downfall started. But we will talk about that later, because in terms of sales, FIFA just kept getting better, with their 2012 edition being the most realistic FIFA game released at that time. They added an impact engine which meant realistic player collisions and injuries, tactical defending and precision dribbling. In the first week after release, FIFA 12 sold 3.2 million copies, making it the fastest selling sports game ever at that time. And by the end of the year, 16 million copies were sold. But this wasn't only because the game was so good, it was also released at the right time. When FIFA 12 appeared, YouTubers like KSI, Minimeter, Nepenthes and W2S made entire careers around FIFA content, especially pack openings.
I forgot the name flashed up. Oh, no, it's him, I remember him. He's got a forehead. He looks like a lesbian.
While their main competitor, PES, was struggling and collapsing because of their lack of innovation. Add to that the fact that FIFA owned all the licenses necessary, and you have a game on the market that gets promoted by everyone, keeps improving with each year and has no competition whatsoever. From 2013 onwards, FIFA became EA's cash cow. FIFA 13 had 14.5 million copies sold, FIFA 14 16 million copies, FIFA 15 more than 14 million copies. But while the game improved and it was becoming more and more recognizable, EA kept relying on Ultimate Team, with this being their main selling point. They added as many microtransactions as they could. At the same time, they forgot about innovating their gameplay or adding new game mods to make everything more fun. They knew they had to implement big changes again, and so they did it in FIFA 17. This is regarded by many as the greatest FIFA game of all time. Royce was on the cover, EA implemented a new engine, Frostbite, and introduced a new mod, The Journey, which to be honest was a major win. With this update, they tried to move away from being just a simulator. Now they were a storytelling platform. And following their success with FIFA 17, the next title became the best-selling game in the franchise ever. FIFA 18 has sold over 26 million copies, with many of those sales being boosted by the continuation of the Journey story mode. But this was the last true good FIFA game released by EA Sports. What followed after was purely dictated by greed. FIFA 19 finally introduced the Champions League license, which they sought after for so long. This was a huge deal, and with PES losing it, it only meant EA would become even more dominant. However, instead of further developing, the company stagnated. FIFA 19 felt scripted and heavily momentum-based. Before release, the expectations and hype were massive, but the disappointment with the mechanics, graphics and features was even greater. And remember how I said Ultimate Team was the beginning of the end for FIFA? In FIFA 20, the Ultimate Team got so bad that the new FUT Champions Weekend League demanded 40 games in a weekend from players. EA also introduced limited time cards, Team of the Year, Team of the Season, things designed to milk as much money as possible. But from here, it only got worse. FIFA 21 and 22 reused the same engine animations and features, while the online gameplay was laggy because EA refused to invest in proper servers despite earning billions annually. And it all fell apart with FIFA 23. The partnership between FIFA and EA Sports lasted until 2022. FIFA demanded 1 billion euros for the naming rights of future games, while also demanding more control. EA refused, saying that the deal was no longer worth it. And so FIFA 23 became the last ever FIFA, but because it was marketed as a farewell and the World Cup mode was included, FIFA 23 sold over 10.3 million copies. Even so, the game had the same problems: bugs, repetitive gameplay, scripting, and pay-to-win mechanics. EA reached a point where they were more profitable than ever, but nobody respected them anymore. Following FIFA 23, the new name for this game was going to be EAFC, and surprise surprise, it was basically the same game as before, just rebranded and with some added mechanics. While the Ultimate Team became even more monetized with evolutions. You could upgrade cards, but with the cost of grind and irrational spending. EA had truly lost its soul. What was once a company that was defined by innovation now felt mechanical and greedier than ever. And as you might have expected, EAFC 25 and 26 followed the same trend of reusing old gameplay mechanics and adding new transfers and kits, with these two games marking the true downfall of what was once a beloved franchise. But it's not only about FIFA. EA as a company is falling apart, or is at least going through some major changes. Growth is slowing, their net income is declining, and bad reviews are constantly affecting EA. All of this led to the company being turned into a private one after it was bought by Saudi Arabia through their public investment fund for about $55 billion, which only means that now EA will have more debt and a growing dependency on AI to cut costs, which will lead to less creativity and games that will be just some AI slops. Also, the Western values with every released game will fade. Censorship on topics like LGBT will appear. Promoting authoritarian regimes will also be present. And pro-Islam policies will be adopted. And now, looking back at what EA used to stand for, innovation, emotions, identity, this moment feels unreal. Only the logo remains. The company we once knew is gone. So be ready for their games to only get worse.